Good morning. Tech for Senior, episode 110. Hey, that's pretty cool. May the 2nd today. April is gone. We're into nicer weather. The flowers are coming up. Things are looking good. We have a big show for you today. Hopefully, you'll enjoy it. Of course, as you know, we're broadcasting to over to Zoom as well. So we have some friends of ours over on Zoom or over on YouTube. Sorry, we're broadcasting YouTube. For those of you who are over on our YouTube feed, the show will be going for about 50 minutes, and then just prior to leaving, just prior to the show and just prior to the music segment, we will be stopping the feed over to YouTube. So if you want to pop over, we have about, what have we got, 75 people in the show today. So we've got room for you to come over if you want to participate in the Q&A. Now, we also have, this show is being recorded. If you do want to watch it again and listen to us over and over again, we should have it up on our YouTube channel by the end of the day. We also have another show which in popularity now is actually last week exceeded the number of watches, and that's our Thursday show. It's doing extremely well, and it is on Thursday, and that's when the same gang goes over the week's news, and we have a lot of fun, and lots of people sit around, drink some coffee, tell some jokes, and have a good time. So we do that on Thursday. It's called Tech for Senior Live. However, we don't, it's not a Zoom meeting. We stream it out to YouTube and Facebook. So if you do come to our Zoom meeting ID number, you'll be here all alone because we're not here on Thursday. So please come to our YouTube channel or over on Facebook. Our Facebook page is where we post all the news articles that we have for the week, and that's what we deal with or talk about. And also, if you still want more of us, we even have a podcast now. So we have a podcast that goes up onto the channel, and you can listen to us as a podcast. And Hewie actually did that the other day. He missed a show and he was listening to it. He said it was really sort of cool. He thought it was, he'll probably tell us about it in just a second. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. And I want to thank everybody for coming today, because as I always say each day, I do this and I truly mean it, is it's your enthusiasm, it's you coming and participating that keeps our energy going to keep making the videos, right? We're doing this for you. And so we are excited when everybody comes and listens to the stuff that we've done. My big worry in life is when everybody goes away and there's nobody left. Well, I guess the five of us can sit around and talk and have a good time, but anyway, we'll be all by ourselves. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I also want to thank everyone for participating and help make the show roll smoothly. Of course, there's our staff that we have, but also people who are participating and help to the show to keep going and are doing segments themselves. Now, a good example of that is Mike Ungerman. Next week, will be talking on Proton Mail, an alternative to Gmail. He's done an excellent job of creating a video for us, and I think there's some really interesting stuff there, and he is going to be doing that next week. So thank you, Mike, and thank you for those of you who do segments. If you do want to participate and you have some interest, please let me know. I will book you in and get you on the show. All right, let me introduce everyone now. So the first person we'll introduce is, of course, my co-host, Hewie Poplock. Hewie, we had a busy week last week, eh? Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
Yeah.
We had a really good Learning Chromebook show.
Yeah.
Very active, a lot of good questions, and I had to learn something to try to answer somebody's question, and that was her bar at the top with all of the choices of what you could do disappeared, and she still hasn't figured it out, but I figured it out on mine. It's an on-off switch, which is just a control shift and the letter F for Frank. We'll turn it on, turn it off.
There you go.
In Google Docs. So something I learned. Something.
Yeah, we learn it. We learn on the show, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it just so much good information and so many good discussions, like we had just prior to this show today was interesting. So,
Just remember, our next show will be coming up in May. It'll be the fourth Thursday in May. So if you do want to participate or you want to come, there's no charge. We just ask that you register, and you can register on our webpage. There's a link there for registration. Indeed. Yep. Should be fun. All right. And yeah, I think you've got a bunch of new gadgets you're working on, Hewie, that you're going to probably tell us about in the
yeah,
future.
well, there's a big one today. It's an
Was it?
expensive one, but might
Don't
be
say anything. Don't say anything.
might be of interest to
Okay.
people,
All right.
even if they don't buy one.
All right. There you go. And of course, Bob. Bob, how the heck are you doing?
Just fine. Another gorgeous Monday here.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we have in the state some pretty large fires going,
right.
but the large one that everybody's reading on the news is several hundred miles from me.
Mm-hmm.
We can see smoke on the mountains, but it doesn't directly affect our area.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. We'll be hearing from you later. And of course, Dewey, you're in the bulrushes there, or you're in the forest, or where the heck are you?
Well, I decided to be in the weeds because my presentation today goes a little bit into the weeds, I think, and so here I am. But anyway, it's pretty darn cold here in Minnesota. We've had the wettest and coldest spring in many, many years, but we've got in a week or so it'll start warming up, they say.
Yeah, and I was Hewie got up early this morning, or Dewey got up early this morning to redo his EV battery segment today because he wanted to be perfect. So I'm all ears. I haven't listened to the whole segment, but it should be a good one. And of course, Ray, what's new in music?
One of the judges died over the weekend, which is kind of sad news. I'm going to be focusing on her next week. Other than that, music is still music. Fire-wise, we don't have any fires nearby where I live. As some of you may recall, I had to evacuate last summer, but we already have the signs that go up that tell you what stage it is in the area. So while I love living in the forest, that's what we have to contend with.
Okay, and you probably have an emergency plan. If you have to leave, then you've got everything.
Yeah, there's only two ways in and out of this town. So depending where the fire is, you go the other way.
All right. And Bill James. Bill, tell me from Oklahoma. And
we had a rather stormy night. It rained. I don't know how many inches we got, but it rained a good portion of the night, and it was still raining this morning when I got up. It's clearing off, but we got lots of like there's a flood advisory out, so we must have got a lot of rain.
All right.
Other than that, things are just good.
Yeah, are your property high up? Like, are you in the floodplain? Are you fairly safe then, or what?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm not in a flood area.
Okay. All right. I want to thank two individuals who donated to our coffee fund this week. It was Ann Kessler. Thank you so much, Ann, and Mary Maxon. Thank you so much to both of you for donating. That's great. Now, Bob always says, Ron, stop talking. Let's get the show going. So take it away, Bob.
Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending April 29th, 2022. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and get involved. Will Elon Musk follow the rules? European Union officials Cedric O and Thierry Breton both mentioned on Twitter that they expect Elon Musk to abide by the rules of the new Digital Service Act. The new legislation requires user-generated platforms to police its content, implementing robust content moderation systems that allow them to take down quickly any illegal material like hate speech or child sexual abuse. Rule breakers will have to pay 6% of their global annual revenues which for Twitter would be just about 300 million. Musk has called himself a free speech absolutist, saying that his vision is to make Twitter into a digital town square. Avast security evangelist Louis Carones thinks Musk and the DSA will get along in some ways. Funny enough, some of the measures Elon Musk is said to take with Twitter align fully with the DSA, like making Twitter's algorithms open source. Not that funny is that the concerns come from Musk's strong position in favor of free speech. While the DSA promotes outsourcing censorship, Musk spoke about his more conservative views on Twitter, while the EFF and other associations are already worried about the DSA's approach to some topics. For more on this story, see CNBC. In my humble opinion, all sides need to stop prejudging Musk's intentions. If he's truly looking to allow free speech on the platform, then all sides of a topic will be treated equally without prejudging the merits of the topic. Google offers Europe reject all button for cookies. After France's Data Protection Agency fined Google 150 million euros, which is about 170 million US dollars, for using confusing language in cookie banner options. Google announced it would give European users a reject all option. Users have always been able to accept all cookies with a single click, but in order to reject them, all users had to click through a series of menus. CNIL called that policy unlawful because it steered users into accepting cookies, which ultimately benefited Google's advertising business. The new choices for European users will be accept all or reject all and more options to exercise more granular control. So where are those same options for those of us here in the US? For more, see The Verge. Google Play rolls out new app privacy section. This week, Google introduced a new section in app descriptions in the Play Store called Data Privacy and Security, where developers can explain what data they collect from users, such as location, personal info, financial info, web history, contacts, and various file types. Developers are also expected to list their data security practices, including if the data is encrypted in transit and if users can request their data be deleted. The rollout will take a few weeks before everyone sees the new section in the Play Store. And while every app description will include the section, it does not necessarily mean every app will provide the data. For more on this, see Ars Technica. Package planting exploits flaw in NPM. NPM, the default package manager for the Node.js JavaScript runtime environment, has patched a logical flaw that allowed bad actors to pass off rogue libraries as legitimate, tricking unsuspecting users into installing files that could contain malware. Previously, NPM allowed adding anyone as a maintainer of the package without notifying users or getting consent, which meant that an adversary could create malware-laced packages and assign them to trusted popular maintainers without their knowledge. For more on this story, see the Hacker News. Could the metaverse reshape manufacturing? The metaverse will offer new opportunities for innovation that could reshape the manufacturing industry. First, designing new prototypes will only require graphic rendering, not physical construction, so the innovation cycle will be accelerated. Next, the metaverse will be fertile ground for product testing, as its decentralized nature allows for diverse market research. Additionally, the metaverse could lead to democratization, decentralization, and increased transparency in manufacturing across industries. Finally, the metaverse will connect the digital and physical worlds in ways that will prompt new fields of innovation, business models, and demand for manufacturing. Read the full story at VentureBeat. Facebook doesn't know what it does with your data. Facebook is facing what it describes internally as a tsunami of privacy regulations all over the world, which will force the company to dramatically change how it deals with users' personal data. And the fundamental problem, the company admits, is that Facebook has no idea where all of its user data goes or what it's doing with it. If Facebook doesn't know what's happening with your data, can you really trust them with your data? That's a question you should ask. Read the whole story at Motherboard. This week's must-read on the Avast blog. While many have focused on how Musk plans to promote free speech on Twitter, his promise to authenticate all users on the platform is arguably as important. And as he works to achieve that lofty goal, he may quickly find that authenticating users and doing it securely and privately will take quite some work. Read the whole article on this topic at the link listed below. And that wraps up this week's Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob. I see the bad guys are still working at it. All right, let's see what Dewey has to say.
Good morning, friends. I'm Dewey, and my Tech Talk topic for today is EV batteries and charging systems, with a focus on the latter. Now, at this time, there are 4 major markets in the world for electric vehicles: North America, Japan, the European Union, and China, all of which have different electrical standards and use different plug-in connectors. EV charging is a complicated subject, and I'll do my best today to bring some clarity to the topic by focusing primarily on charging systems used in North America, the US and Canada. In other words, John Bogna, writing at howtogeek.com, explained that the length of time needed to charge an EV depends on the type of charging system used, type 1, type 2, or type 3. And I can tell you it also depends on a lot more. Between these 3 types of charging, there are at this time in the world 4 types of AC charging plugs and 4 types of DC charging plugs. And this doesn't even include Tesla's proprietary connectors. Type 1 and type 2 chargers use AC electricity only and exclusively. Type 3 chargers, on the other hand, primarily use DC power. However, sometimes AC electricity is used in combination with DC electricity to achieve even faster charging rates. That's in these type 3 chargers. Regarding Tesla, their plugs are also built to accept AC and DC power and come with adapters for use with other charging networks. I'll tell you more about them later. Now, type 1 chargers are simply regular home AC wall outlets and may take roughly 20 hours for a 120-mile charge on an electric vehicle. This type of charger can also work well for overnight charges on the smaller battery packs that are found in some hybrid electric vehicles. Type 2 chargers are those found in most public charging stations. They deliver 240 volts of AC power and have a special type of plug-in connector called the J1772. That is the standard for all electric vehicles actually sold in North America. Type 2 chargers may also be installed in home garages for convenience. Charging speed depends on a number of factors, including capacity of the local electrical grid, which is very important. Now, the cost at Amazon for these is around $500 or $600, though local electric companies often offer huge rebates or install them for free. Type 3 chargers, also known as DC Fast Charge, DCFC, chargers provide the quickest juice up of all and have special connecting plugs. There are 3 types of Type 3 chargers at this time. I'll give you insight into all 3 of them. First, there's the CCS, which stands for Combined Charging System, which is also known as the Combo Charging System, and it's used in North America. The CCS connector is shown at left below, and it combines the J1772 AC connector with a DC plug into a single connector that will deliver extra power up to 350 watts. Now, just for example, also for additional information, the European Union combo plug at the right below is the EU variant that has 2 additional DC contacts, which I am told allows even higher power DC charging. Now, a second type of Type 3 is the CHAdeMO. It's used mostly in Japan, but it's also available in North America. It's an abbreviation of charge de move. Sounds French, but it's a name that's actually derived from a Japanese phrase that translates to "how about a cup of tea," referring to the time it would take to charge an EV. As of June 2018, CHAdeMO allowed up to 400 kilowatt charging and aims to ultimately increase that to 900 kilowatt level. That is big. The CHAdeMO plug is shown at the left below, along with the previously described CCS plug and the middle and the European Union combo plug at the right. The Tesla plug is the third type of Type 3 connectors. It works with both the company's Type 2 charging network and its Type 3 supercharger stations. It's approved for use in all regions of the world except the European Union, and that only because of the voltage difference. And I think you know about that. This proprietary Tesla connector accepts all voltages. It's very simple. So there's no need to have another connector like those shown previously. Tesla installs and maintains these DC fast chargers called superchargers for the exclusive use of Tesla customers. Charging time varies for numerous reasons, but can be as little as a half hour and could be quite long in many cases. Our son Steve is a scientist and the CEO of Aquahydrix in Louisville, Colorado. So what does this have to do with EV charging? Well, Steve explains it this way. Aquahydrix is commercializing a clean sheet redesign of water electrolysis to create the ideal platform for producing green hydrogen at scale. And that really means at a very large scale. Green hydrogen is predicted to be vital for industrial sectors that can't be directly electrified, such as long duration energy storage for the power grid and in numerous other areas in industry worldwide. That's kind of a complicated sentence, but it makes the story. Green hydrogen is defined as hydrogen produced by splitting water into its H2 and O2 components using renewable energy. That's the important part. In a net zero world, in which most world governments have agreed to achieve by 2050, approximately 15 to 20% of all electricity produced will be used to power electrolyzers to make green hydrogen. Since solar and wind are now the least expensive methods of producing electricity, they will play the leading role for powering our grid and consequently for charging EVs. So now you know why I led you down this path. Thanks, Steve, for those comments. To understand why this is important, for example, one needs to understand the huge impact on the local electrical grid alone that simultaneous charging of a number of EVs using, for example, Type 3 quick chargers at 400 kilowatts would have. Each 400 kilowatt charger draws 40,000 watts. That's 0.4 megawatts. It's the equivalent of powering 4,100 watt light bulbs. Now, 100 EVs charging would draw 40 million watts, which is 40 megawatts, which would be quite noticeable in its burden on most local electric grids and regional and national as well. Now, think, for example, of 1,000 EVs charging at once. It's a humongous load on the grid. The exploding market for EVs and the consequent need for charging them will most certainly change the world we live in today. Well, that's my Tech Talk story for today, and I'm sticking with it because my son approved of it. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Stay safe, and if there's some juice still left in the turnip, we'll see you next week.
That's good. That was good. Hey, you got it in right to the all the technology there. That's great, Dewey.
Thank you much.
Yeah,
he's done well.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I'm all ears. More, hopefully, you'll have more about hydrogen and the evolving that evolving technology. That's very interesting. All right. Now what we have is Bill James is going to give us some tips. Bill, Windows tips. Give us. Are you going to teach us some tricks here?
Good morning, all. 3 Windows tips today are basically on using the taskbar. And first one is arrange windows. And you can do so by using a applet that's actually in by right-clicking on the taskbar. So in addition to Snap, you can always arrange your windows in other ways. If you right-click on your taskbar, you'll reveal 3 Windows arrangement schemes, namely Cascade Windows, Stack Windows, and Show Windows side by side. And you can see here this is Cascade, Show Windows Stack, Show Windows side by side. And what that actually means is that this is a cascading window. So say, for instance, if you're a multitasker and you might have several different windows going all at once, you can quickly see what is behind each window by just choosing the cascade window. Say, for instance, you want to stack them on top of one another, you can put them in this manner where you can have 3 different views on one side, and then not only that, you could have a side-by-side view as well. And those are all available from using just right-clicking on your taskbar and selecting those options. The other tip is the notification area. This is certainly talked about. I don't think many people actually use it, but there is some benefit. It provides a temporary source for your notification status, and it's that area that pops up occasionally if you have your notifications turned on. It will pop up and show you what's taking place. But below that are some tiles that can be used to display quick actions. If you want to quickly be able to have no presence on your desktop, such for the battery level, the volume control, or network status, you can use it by using these little tiles here. And you can customize those very easily. If you just click on any one of the notification icons that's here, just right click, and you will then get something that says edit quick actions. And then from there, you want to click on the plus sign, and then you'll see some choices like Bluetooth, having a toggle for to turn your Bluetooth on and off, one for your brightness, one for night light, rotation lock, tablet mode, Wi-Fi. So you can quickly get to those just by using those tiles that are there, and you just select them and then click on done, and you have tablets. Now, when they're active, they'll be a blue. When they're not active, they'll be gray. And the third one is jump lists. This is something I really like a lot. is that you can enable jump lists to save yourself considerable amount of time by opening your settings app and go to the start menu and then go to the personalization, start, and enable the last option if you wish to use the jump list on your start menu and taskbar. And what that gives you when you hover over or right click on the icon, it will give you all the information that you have visited, the top sites that I've gone to. These are ones that were closed. And then, of course, you have the tasks below that. This is the one that is the jump list for Microsoft Edge. Say, for instance, if I was using Microsoft Word, you can see here, here's all the different documents I've used in a period of time. And all I have to do is just click on those and they will launch. I don't have to go to all apps or any of that. It's that these will appear and be available for your use. So the 3 tips today, I think will really help you work with Windows, and they're quite easily to learn, and give them a try.
Thanks. Thanks, Bill. That's I gotta try those. I didn't know that. That's cool. That's good tips. Excellent. Thank you. Hewie, where is Hewie? Here, there you are. You are ready to go.
Okay. Cloud whiteboarding. I'm Hewie Poplock. On Tech for Seniors, we frequently talk about gadgets and new technology. Earlier this year, I attended FETC 2022. That's the Future of Education Technology Conference, which was held in Orlando. I recorded several demonstrations, including the one that I'm about to show you. This whiteboard probably is not something that you would buy. However, your local schools or your grandchildren's schools may use one or more, or may be considering it. They do sell for between $2,800 and $5,600. The model shown here is the BenQ RP7502, and the person demonstrating it is Felix Pimentel, Senior Field Applications Engineer at BenQ North America. The BenQ Corporation sells and markets technology products, consumer electronics, computing, and communication devices, including monitors, digital projectors, digital cameras, and mobile computing devices. Let's look at cloud whiteboarding.
You walk into your classroom, you have this beautiful piece of equipment, and before you start using it, you need to log in. Once you log in, as you can see, you have 3 methods of logging in. If I tap here, I'm going to enter my username and password. But you know what? I do not recommend doing that because the students are really, really smart to this, and they will be able to figure out your password in no time flat, right? So what we do is we go to recent users, and you can find your username there. You tap on that QR code, and now with your phone, you can scan that QR code. If you have an iPhone, you use Face ID to log in. If you have an Android, with your thumbprint, you can log in, and no one will see you entering a password. There's a third method, which is by using an NFC card. When you tap that NFC card on the board, now the board will automatically log you in. Once you're logged in, now you have the ability to personalize your user experience. You can get your own background on there, your own wallpaper. Your name will appear down at the bottom of the screen here. You can even add your picture next to your name. Once I log in, aside from being able to customize a background, if I tap on File Manager here, now you're going to see that I also have access to my Google Drive. I can also link my Dropbox, my OneDrive. So this is convenient because in any classroom that I go, I'm going to have the same exact user experience. I'm going to have the board is going to look exactly the way that I want to, and all my files are going to follow me from room to room wherever I go in that school or even the district. So that's the main advantage of doing that. If, by the way, there's also security features that if I don't use the board for an extended period of time, the board is going to automatically log me out to prevent unauthorized users from using my Google account. Anyway, so having said that, the other thing that we have is, of course, this whiteboard. The whiteboard, because you're recording, I want to change that background to something darker, and I'm going to change the stylus. So as you can see, in just a matter of seconds, we went from a completely whiteboard to a traditional blackboard, and you could adjust the thickness of that pen. We could adjust, select the pen color, and very easily by just going in those menus. Anyhow, so when we do that, there's also another feature that I would like to show you. We go from writing to erasing just seamlessly. There's no need to invoke an eraser tool. If I write something on the board and some of the words are a little bit closer together, and if I apply that eraser, I'm going to end up erasing something that I did not want to erase. What we can do is you can click on that eraser and immediately it goes into spot eraser mode and it's gone. But if I made a mistake and I want to bring it back, not a problem. I can always just go back and undo it. There's another set of tools that are really, really great on these boards. Give me the square root of that. There you go.
Yeah, there's no trim. Oh, thank you.
And if I make a mistake and I say instead of 44, this should have been a 46, not a problem. The board is going to go ahead and correct for that. There's so many really important tools. For instance, if I want to draw a circle, I can't really draw a perfect circle, but the board will help me do that. And it's just simply amazing. As you can see, I can just drag it anywhere I want on the screen, and that's it. Or if I want to draw a table for the kids, all I have to do is just draw my table roughly, and the board knows that this is what I want to do. So it's a number of tools that BenQ has provided. Even for the students that are actually working from home, they could not make it into class on that day. There's even a feature where I could invite them into my class, and so it will generate this QR code, or you can just tell the students to go to easywrite.benq.com, have them go to this my room. Thank you. And once they are in the room, they can actually participate in class. They will be able to see everything that I do on my board here. They will be able to see it instantly at home. And
does it have a microphone built in? Can they hear you too?
Oh God, this has an 8 microphone array built in here so that you can record your lessons as well. So now if I do anything that I do on my board here, he is going to be able to see instantly on his device. Now, that's only one part of it. If I invite them for co-creation mode, now all the tools at the bottom of his phone are going to become live, and he can provide input. So he'll be able to provide, let's say if it's a homework, he'll be able to send it to the class and I'll be able to see it instantly on my board. He'll be able to submit post-it notes. Just about anything that I can do here, he can do there. So
how many people could be on at one time?
Over 30. Yes. So this is BenQ Cloud Whiteboarding. Another feature that BenQ also includes, and these are all free of charge, there's never any cost, wireless projection. So using wireless projection, I can connect my computer, and it could be a PC, it could be a Mac, iOS, Android, you name it, a Chromebook, and I can wirelessly connect my computer and display it on the board. Not only display it, I can gesture control my computer directly from the board. So if I need to access a website, I can just go on the board and just tell the computer, go to this website, and it will be displayed instantly here. If I'm a teacher and I have my entire class, 20, 30 students in my class, they're all connected to the board. I could also set the board for moderator mode, and I can select from the roster of kids that I can have them show their device on the board instantly. There's no need to walk across the room and connect a cable or anything. It's completely instantaneous. And if one student, of course, as always, is displaying something that is inappropriate, then the teacher can instantly just remove that student from the display. So these are some of the features that BenQ has been working on these boards. This is the top of the line, the BenQ RP 7502. These actually come in 65, 75, 86 inch. This is the top of the line. Below that, we also have an RM line, or a mid-range line, and we also have the RE line. They all offer very similar feature sets. Depending on the model that you go, some will have additional features like this one, but they're all great.
A lot of our attendees belong to computer user groups. Some of them have locations where they're at. Some just have a room they rent somewhere just for the meeting. But if they had their own place, they would be able to keep this there. Now, what kind of price range are we talking about? From the lowest one to the high, you say your three ranges. What kind of price range are we talking about?
The prices will range anywhere between $1,500 to about, the larger ones, of course, they're closer to $5,000. But there's, you have from the entry-level boards all the way to the top of the line, in that range, from about $1,500 to about $5,000.
Thank you very much.
This has been Cloud Whiteboarding. I'm Hewie Poplock.
What happened to chalk?
Education is certainly changing.
Oh, that's cool. I got to get one of those. Those like lots of fun. All right, Bob, do you have?
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was cool. Bob, what's you're back on Windows 10?
I am back on Windows 10. And the best advice I can offer is don't force an update to Windows 11. If you do force that update, you will eventually run into this or some other update that just will not work. My update was not forced. Microsoft simply installed Windows 11 on this system instead of the next beta release for Windows 10. The update that would not install on this system was Windows Insider Preview 22598.1. The update was probably making some enhancements to hardware or software that this system wasn't able to handle. Since the computer wouldn't update, I used the option to pause updates for 7 days a few times, but that doesn't solve the problem, and eventually you either solve the problem or return to Windows 10. You'll notice this PC definitely says currently doesn't meet minimum system requirements to run Windows 11. I also know that those registry and other hacks that are available to force Windows 11 onto the system are very tempting. Don't do it. Windows 10 works like a charm, as it always has for me. I again need to get used to the fact that the taskbar is no longer centered. I'll have to find a different place for my coffee cup. In case you didn't know, Windows 10 is fully supported till October 2025. By then, it will be time to get a new computer, which will be ready for Windows 11, or whatever version will be the current version in October of 2025. It's a lot easier not to force an update, which you'll eventually need to roll back to Windows 10. And remember, rolling back only works for 10 days, which means if you're not within that 10-day period, you need to do a clean install. I've been on the non-supported version of Windows 11 since September of 2021 and did a clean install of Windows 10 on April 25th, 2022. The only nice thing is that I now have a cleanly installed version of Windows 10 Pro, and the only programs installed are those I absolutely need. If your computer can't handle Windows 11, stay with Windows 10. You already know that operating system. I have some relearning to do. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob. The incidence of atrial fibrillation goes up exponentially with age. If you have atrial fibrillation, then you are 5 times likely to have a stroke. My patients always ask me, will I be able to drive again? Will I be able to come home? Or will I have to go to extended care? So identifying atrial fibrillation is so important. And we have 3 watches that will do this for us. We have the Apple Watch Series 4 to 7. We have the Samsung Galaxy Watch 3 and 4. And we have the Fitbit Sense. These have all been approved by the FDA and work exactly the same way. You start to feel symptoms, you do an ECG on your watch, and it will tell you if you have atrial fibrillation or not. The problem with atrial fibrillation is a lot of patients don't have symptoms, so they never know that they actually have this. And the first time is when they present in the emergency department with a stroke. That is why I'm so excited about Fern, Fitbit Irregular Rhythm Notification. This is a new app that has just been released and approved by the FDA in April 2022. Let me tell you about it today. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. I am a senior, I am a retired physician, and I make videos about your health. If you want to see more videos like this, you know the routine. Just go down below and click the subscribe. And next to the subscribe, you'll see a little button called notification. If you click that, we'll send you notification when a new video is made. The early detection and treatment of atrial fibrillation can prevent stroke. This is so important with our age group. So let me tell you why I'm so excited about Fern. Many patients with atrial fibrillation don't know they have it. It's what we call asymptomatic. The first presenting symptoms are a stroke when they present in the emergency department. Further evaluation reveals, in fact, they do have atrial fibrillation. That is the problem with using your smartwatch to diagnose atrial fibrillation. You actually have to initiate the ECG app when you feel symptoms. So if you don't have any symptoms, you're not going to push the button to initiate the diagnostic test. So Fern, which is the Fitbit Irregular Rhythm Notification, works 24/7. It records your heartbeat in the background, it analyzes it, and it then notifies you. So it records it, analyzes it, and notifies you. This has just been approved by the FDA in the United States only. It will be a slow rollout over the next few months. Now, it's not just the Fitbit Sense that supports the irregular rhythm notification, but also the Charge 3, 4, and 5, the Fitbit Inspire, the Fitbit Sense, and of course the Fitbit Versa 2 and 3. I've put a list in the notes here of the supported devices at present. Now, how do you get the Fern app? Well, you need to go to your phone, you open the Fitbit app, and then you come down to the Discover tab. Click on that and tap on Irregular Rhythm Notifications. If you look over on the right, you'll see on mine under Assessment and Reports, you'll see that I have the ECG app, but of course, since I'm in Canada, I don't have the Fern app available, but that's where you'd find it. Well, how accurate are the irregular rhythm notifications? To validate this, Fitbit just completed a large study involving over 500,000 patients. And this concluded that atrial fibrillation can be accurately detected using this technique. Now, how will I be notified if Fitbit sees signs of an irregular rhythm? Well, this is going to include 2 ways. Now, you have to remember you need to be resting or still for it to accurately record. Now, it's going to record over a period of 24 hours. It continually monitors your heart. And then it's going to analyze it and send you the data back with any notifications. So you'll get the notifications in one of 2 ways. You'll get a phone notification, such as you see on the top here, saying irregular rhythm notification. Or within the Fitbit app, you'll get a notification, as you see in the below slide. So you'd have to go to the app, open it up, and there you would see the notification. Now, how do I review my irregular rhythm details or history? Well, from the Discover tab, you'll go in and you'll open the Find Assessment and Reports section, and then you'll tap on the irregular rhythm notification. When you open it up, you'll see a history of the notifications that have been sent to you with the date and time, and if you've seen them or not. Now, if you do get an irregular rhythm notification, it is so important that you have this confirmed by your healthcare provider. Atrial fibrillation is a leading cause of stroke and can be prevented. Well, it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Fitbit Irregular Rhythm Notification. This is an important use of your smartwatch. Now, I've made over 12 videos about smartwatches, and I'll put the links below in the notes. And remember, if you want to be notified of new videos coming out, just click that notification button just below. Do it now so you don't forget. Till we see you again, have a great day. Now, Ray, before we get you going here, I just wanted to say goodbye to our friends over on YouTube. If you are listening over there, we'll be ending the broadcast. You can certainly come over to our Zoom meeting and participate in the Q&A if you so wish. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Ray, are you ready to roll?
Let's go. More than a comedian. Who remembers Robert Klein? Now, in general, I'm not a fan of today's stand-up comics who feel the need to deliver the F-bomb in every other sentence in order to be funny. I'd rather listen to the PG comedians I enjoyed as a much younger person, and the one that comes to mind is Robert Klein. We share the fact that we were both raised in the Bronx during the same time frame and attended different public high schools in that New York City borough that were for boys only. Now, during his heyday, Robert Klein had many funny routines, but perhaps his most popular is I Can't Stop My Leg. And while best known as a comedian, he's also had success with television appearances, including being the host of a 1970 summer replacement series titled Comedy Tonight. And then in 1986, he had his own late night variety talk show, which ran for about 2 years. Now, Klein has made several comedy albums, with his first 2 being the bestsellers A Child of the 50s, we can all relate to that, I think, and Mind Over Matter. He also had roles in theatrical movies during his career. Now, today we have American Idol and The Voice, just to name 2 that showcase America's talented amateur singers. But back when Klein was a teenager in 1957, would have been about 17 years old that year, you only had 2 national programs that I'm aware of. Who remembers Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts and Ted Mack's Original Amateur Hour? Well, it was on this latter program that Klein appeared as a background singer with an unknown doo-wop quartet calling themselves the Teen Tones, singing an up-tempo version of the old standard Sunday Kind of Love. Fast forward 30 years, and Klein now on his own TV program reminisces about that appearance and showcases his singing ability doing this song once again as the ballad has started out in the 1940s. So I'm going to show the clips from both these two TV programs in a second. A little bit of trivia. It was in 1953 that the Harp Tones recorded Sunday Kind of Love, and their legendary lead singer, Willie Winfield, he passed away last year at the age of 91. And then in 1957, the Del Vikings released the up-tempo version, and this was on what we call the 45 RPM EP, an extended play 45 RPM disc with 2 songs on each side. So let me make one change here to Robert Klein, not just a comedian.
Yes. Well done, Ray. Thank you so much. For those of you who have to leave now, I just want to remind everyone that our premiere service will be starting in about half an hour. We have, of course, today on our service, we have, of course, Ray Baxter. He's talking on listening to music in the car, a very popular show he did about a year ago, and that will be on our premiere service. I put the link in the chat, and also it was in our newsletter. I'll be talking on 5 Chromebook tips. You'll be interested in those, and Hewie's going to talk on Windows 10 File Explorer move or copy, and should be interesting as well. So we have 3 sessions, 3 selections for you today on our premiere service. It's free, and it will be coming at 1/2 the hour. It is recorded, of course, and you can use it for your clubs or in the future as well. I'm going to open it up now to our Q&A. I know we had a big show today. We always have a big show, but we had so much information today. It's hard to process it all. And I'm sure there will be lots of questions. If you have any questions, then we will, just hit the button at the bottom, and we'll move on to the and raise your hand, and we'll be happy to answer the questions. I would say on my, really wanted to get mine out today because Fern is the first, it's only been released 2 weeks, and there are no videos about it. So I was saying to Bob earlier, we create a lot of YouTube videos, and so my little baby went out this morning, and so far it's doing very well. I hope that it will keep going, because it's the first video about that very popular cardiac app that's going to be available across the Fitbit line. So we'll put just put your hands up if you want to come to the top and you want to talk. If you have any questions, concerns, any comments, or anything you'd like to say, please, it's all yours now. No comments, or wow.
Well, I put something in the chat box. Robert Klein, I just happened to watch a movie yesterday where he played an old man, and I just checked by asking my Miss A how old he was, and he's 80.
Oh, really? There you go.
That's the neat thing about Miss A. You can holler at her and say, how old is somebody, or say, are they still alive? And she'll come back with the information.
Excellent. Detlef, go ahead.
You mentioned that a lot of people don't have any symptoms with the AFib. As a matter of fact, I found out that most people don't have any symptoms. I've got an implanted defibrillator, and I hadn't been to my doctor to have the info downloaded because of the COVID thing. I hadn't been back to Denver in a year and a half. Went in there, they downloaded the info. They called me up the next day and they said, did anything strange happen to you on May 23rd? This was in October. And I said, no, May 23rd, nothing, don't remember it. Nothing special happened. Said, well, we found that you had a 13-hour AFib event, and the thing had recorded it. I never felt a thing. Had no idea I had anything like that, and they put me on. They put me on blood thinner right away.
Exactly. So this is going to be a big one. I think this is really exciting news, and will probably be a series of. And the other thing is it's not just the Fitbit Sense; it's pretty much across the whole Fitbit line. So it's going to be, I think, a big one, and it's going to roll out now. You may or may not see that on your Fitbit app right now, because it is a slow rollout across the United States. But it's going to be exciting. I think it's a good one. Yep. Ray, go ahead.
I really enjoyed Dewey's presentation on the electric vehicles, but I'm wondering if Dewey knows, based on the fastest charging ability, how long does it take at a public station to charge a car where the battery is almost at the empty level?
Unmute yourself.
I can answer that by telling you that there are so many factors involved, like how many other people are charging. It's a very hard figure to come up with. You can't nail it down because it'll vary moment by moment, place by place, wherever you are. But at best, it's like a half an hour. At worst, it could be several hours. So that's the best I could tell.
Thank you.
And your fastest charging is between 20 and 80. If you go above 80, that's when things really, really start to slow down. And the closer you get to that 100%, the slower the charge becomes.
That is correct, Bob. That is absolutely correct. Charging rate, because the very beginning is slow and the very end is very, very, very slow.
Yep.
Go ahead, Bill.
Oh, I was just going to say, I've been diagnosed with amphib, and I don't feel anything either. And so
Yes,
it's kind of, it's if I take a blood pressure reading, it shows up on the machine, and
right.
There's been some instances. My watch will indicate there's been an activity, but I never feel anything.
And also remember, your incidence goes up exponentially. If you're over the age of 60, then you saw the curve, the graph, it goes straight up. It goes up exponentially as we get older. So it's extreme if you're over the age of 60.
Yeah. I'll be 77 tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Young
Hey.
fella.
Yes. Do you want me to get Bob to sing you happy birthday?
No.
Please don't.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And Jim Glass.
Yeah, I was wondering, is Fitbit going to come out with a new watch stuff, or is this system, this firm, just designed to go on the existing watches?
Oh no, it goes on all the watches now. All those watches I listed there, it goes on all those historical watches. Yeah, it doesn't. You don't have to have a new watch to have this.
Do any of those watches contain a fall detector?
Well, if it did, no, none of the. Now, before you get into watches and fall detections, Jim, did you see my video on fall detection in watches?
Yeah, I did. I was wondering, it's been a while, so I was
Yeah.
wondering if there'd been any improvements.
No,
since
not.
I had my last fall not too long ago.
Yeah, I'm not really. I mean, the watches have a lot of really cool features, but I'm not really sold on fall detection on watches, and for all the reasons I gave in the video. Okay, so I'm not sure that's a good reason for purchasing a watch is for fall detection. I think there's some really big problems with that. There are much better systems available, but I think that from a cardiac point of view, this is pretty significant, and I think this may be a compelling reason to, for a smartwatch. I think there's some really good. This is a really good app from a medical side. This is a good application for it.
Well, which one of the Fitbit watches would you recommend? My wife went in emergency and they thought it was AFib, and things passed, but her cardiologist says she doesn't have it. So I would like her to have something independent that she could work with.
Right. Well, the Fitbit, I mean, all those I gave in the video today, you can go back and you don't have to buy, but the Fitbit Sense now is on sale. My gosh, it's I think they've got it down to under $200 now. It's and the Galaxy Watch 4 as well. But the Fit, they're all on sale for cheap. And I guess the real question would be, Jim, is just hold it for one more week. You know, we don't know yet what the Pixel Watch is going to bring. This could, maybe it'll be the same old stuff. Maybe there won't be anything new. Maybe it'll just be the usual stuff. But just remember, there's a big watch coming out in the next week. So we just want to see what, maybe there's something up the sleeves that Google's got that's going to make this watch, oh my gosh, the one that you really want. So I don't know.
Yeah, I have one other question for Dewey, maybe. What happens to these the batteries on these electronic vehicles? You know, where do they go when they die? How do they recycle?
I'm going to have to investigate that and get back to you. Good question.
Thank you.
George, go ahead.
My understanding of that is an issue.
Right. George, go ahead.
So not wanting to die, waiting for Health Canada to approve what America
yeah.
How do I get my Fitbit Sense to run that app? Do I have to deregister it and register it in the States or what?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. And I don't know how fast it's going to get approved in Canada. I mean, just
Well, it
this
took
just
a long
got
time
approved.
for the other.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
ECG part.
Yeah, and what I don't know is if you travel down into the US, if it would identify you as being in there, and you could load the app and install it, and then when you came back to Canada, it'd be fine. I don't know the answer.
I wonder about Americans traveling up to Canada. Are they gonna?
Oh, I don't think once the app's on there, I think you're fine. I don't think that's a problem. But yeah, I'm in the same.
I'll ask my friends, and I'll ask Dorothy. She's in Arizona.
Yeah.
She doesn't run a Fitbit.
Send her the watch, have her put in the, and then send it back to you.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, George, the other thing I reminded about the faces again, the default face that occurs on the Fitbit Sense is super bright, right? And it's the one that you don't want to keep on all the time, and you can't actually keep it on all the time. And if you ever have that on at night, it'll light up the whole bedroom, right? It's like super bright. And they do that to impress you when you get the watch. That's why if you change that watch face and have it on all the time, the power consumption of the other watch faces are way less. Okay, that is just made super bright to impress you. Okay, it is very impressive, but it's, you know, just change the watch face.
George, I'll be happy to offer my services. Send it to me for a slight fee. I'll be happy to put that and send it back. I'll offer that to any Canadian.
We're very helpful, George. You see, we're trying to help you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Bill, go ahead. Just unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. I've kind of picked up, Ron, from what you're saying, that there's many devices that work better for several things than these combination devices. Is that right?
Well, the one that I write a lot about is fall detection. I don't think, you see, if you look at fall detection was really brought in by Apple, and Apple has done the big marketing job on fall detection. Fitbit, since the Fitbit line never did have fall detection, they stayed away from it completely. And if you look at the Galaxy Watch 4, although they have fall detection on there, if you go to the Galaxy Samsung website, there's no mention whatsoever of fall detection. They don't put it in their marketing, their advertising, or anything. They do. It's like a hidden secret, and I think part of the reason is it just isn't that good. So I think that this whole thing about fall detection on watches is a bit hocus pocus, and in fact, if you fall, you want to make sure that you get help. And I think ADT has pendants you can wear around your neck. They've got you can put things around your wrist where you push a button and help will come. There's lots of other ways of going about this rather than relying on the watch technology for this. All right, that's all I'm saying about that.
Okay. One other thing on that was, I was curious if you knew about the Health Net in the U.S. will actually pay for a Fitbit. It's been several months since I looked into it, but they would pay total fee on it.
a lot of the health insurance companies will pay for smartwatches or part of smartwatches. The health benefits are clearly there, so they'll actually subsidize it. So if you do have a health plan, if you notify them, they will often do that. But these watches are coming down so cheap now. As I said, I think at Costco now they've got both the Fitbit Sense and Galaxy Watch 4 up for under $200 Canadian. I mean, really, that's pretty cheap.
The Galaxy Watch I just got, T-Mobile had the 40 millimeter one for zero. All you have to do is add the account, and I got the 44 millimeter one. It was I'm paying $1.22 a month for 24 months.
Yeah. Steve, go ahead.
Do you think the glucose sensor will cost when it comes out?
Oh, the glucose. Yeah, that's
if it ever does.
Yeah, who knows? I can tell you that the rumors are with Apple is that probably in the 8, the 8 will maybe have the blood pressure monitor. They're pushing the glucose monitor back each time. They're not even considering it till maybe 9 or 10. I'm not so sure, for a lot of technical reasons, not technical reasons, probably political reasons. I think that the whole concept of putting a blood sugar monitor in a watch is going to slow down Apple's release. I think they like bringing out their watches once a year and ticking along pretty quick. And I'm not sure they can do that with the blood sugar monitor. It's going to be more complicated. So maybe these devices are better in another watch that you'd wear that would just be a blood sugar monitor. Some other company is going to bring this out. Clearly, the technology's been there for 2 years. The sensors have been there, but nobody's implemented it. So I think there's some other things going on here. So nothing really on the horizon that I know about yet.
What sort of ballpark figure would you guess it would be if it does come out?
I have no idea. I personally, I think probably what's going to happen, it won't be a watch. I think another company will bring the device out. There'll be another wearable device that won't be a watch. I think that's what's going to happen.
The sensor by itself is significant enough. It doesn't need all the other frivolous watch.
No, it doesn't need to be a watch. No, but the sensor's there. In fact, Apple has commissioned, has set out the specs and has sent what do they call them? I don't know, where they send out the specs. And so the companies have submitted the costs and everything. So Apple has all that in their, it's just a matter of doing it. But I don't think they're really, it's really going to slow down their yearly release of these watches.
We have two risks.
Sorry?
Is it likely to be less than $400 a month?
Oh yeah, I mean they'll be. I would assume they'll probably be maybe $400 a year, and there's no consumables, right?
Yeah.
So it's cheap, and so insurance companies will probably pay for it as well. So, yeah, I mean it will. It's going to be there, but when it's going to occur, I don't know.
On a conspiracy theorist point of view, it may be that's what's holding it back. Too much money involved, too much money to be lost when it comes out.
Dewey, do you have a quick comment before?
Yes, well, I actually have a question for you concerning Galaxy Watch 4. Now, you have the Galaxy Watch 4, I have the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic.
Right.
And I'm very surprised that you haven't commented on the huge differences, unless you're not experiencing them, that have happened since I got the watch. I mean, it's a totally different and far much better watch now because of all the updates.
Right.
It's just amazing.
Yes. In fact, these watches, and that's it, but that's really Wear OS. That's the Wear operating system. And the big one will be this when Pixel comes out next week, the Pixel Watch will see. And people actually were writing this week saying that the Galaxy Watch 4 held a lot of those features back as part of that to help Pixel with their marketing of this new watch. And that now the watch is going to be coming online. A lot of the Wear OS technology that's being available will be in both watches. Because remember, it's still Google, right? Google's making the Wear OS in the Samsung watch, and now they're bringing out their own watch. So we'll have to wait and see. Neil, do you have a quick comment?
I have a question. Do I have to upgrade my telephone if I get a Fitbit Sense? I have a 4 or 5 year old Motorola.
I don't think so. No, it should run on that. You can certainly check the Fitbit site, but really Fitbit will run, the app will run on it'll run on Apple devices as well, or it'll run on Android devices. So but I'm sure on their site they'll have a specific it probably has to do with the version of, do you know what Android operating system you're using? Are you using 10, 11, 12? Do you know?
I think it may be 8 or 9.
Yeah, so have a look. I mean, that information will be on the website.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Carl, one last quick question before we have to leave.
Just quick comment. Somebody asked about the Verizon 5G home router. I see it advertised here locally in the Detroit area. Just, do a search for Google or whatever. I don't know what areas it's available, but it's based on using the cellular data network, the 5G network. And my son uses it. He's his boat's out on Lake St. Clair. So long as he's within range of the Verizon cellular network, he downloads 300 megabits per second. And it has a 6th generation Wi-Fi router on it, all in one. It would cost $25 a month. There's no contract. And I'm sure other carriers will be offering something similar.
Thanks, Carl.
But you got to be able to get the signal to have that.
Correct.
Well,
all right.
Cellular signal, right.
Cellular signal. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming today. It's been a great show. Don't forget the premiere service starting in 7 minutes. I put another link in the chat. So we will see everyone back next week, same time, same place. Don't forget our Thursday show. We'll all be there talking on Thursday. And if you have any more questions, we can deal with them on Thursday. Otherwise, we'll see you same time, same place next week. All right. Bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.